up, everybody? Welcome back to the SoCal Tram. I'm Matt.
And I'm Cesar.
And today, before we get into this fancy bottle, we just want to say if you're new here, hey, we appreciate you stopping by. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way out. And if you're a return viewer, hey, we appreciate you sticking around. Nonetheless, everybody smash the like button and click that little bell. That way you know whenever we drop a brand new video. Cesar, if I'm not mistaken, this ain't from my bar. So what did you bring?
Well, as a matter of fact, my friend, you are not mistaken. And this is from my bar. We got the Breckenridge High Rye Bourbon Port Cask Finish.
We breaking ridges, y'all.
So guys, we got this Breckenridge Distillery High Rye Bourbon finished in a port cask. And I have actually never had anything from this distillery. But when I did have it, it was actually pretty good. So let's get into the information. This is a high rye mash.
I can see it. I can see how that happened.
Aged in 3 years in New American oak cask. However, finished in a port cask for 4 to 6 months. They are actually pretty much, I would say, a new distillery because they were founded in 2008. So that is pretty new. They are technically the world's highest distillery. But they use Rocky Mountain snow runoff water for the minerals and the great natural taste, which is actually really cool if you think about it. So yeah, folks, I'm actually genuinely excited about this. At first, I wasn't, because I didn't have it, but now I've had it, so now I know I'm excited. But in all honesty, this is actually a bar. I was gonna say it's a bar for my dad's bottle.
Bar for ants?
No, it's a bottle for my dad's bar,
oh,
and
okay.
he doesn't even drink whiskey, but he got this just because he knows I'm a whiskey enthusiast and to have something for me to try when I go to his house. And I was expecting so little from it. So little. I was like, my dad don't know diddly squat about diddly squat. So let's just see what it's like. And folks, let me tell you this. You know how much I liked it? Besides the pouring that we put right now in our cups, in one sitting, within 45 minutes of opening it, that's how much I drank. I drank a lot of this bad boy.
Ridiculous.
A lot of this bad boy. Like, I filled my cup 2 or 3 times. I was like, my little whiskey glass. I was like, oh my God, this is actually good. So I'm pretty excited. I think my dad said he got it at like $50, $50 to $55.
If we were professionals, we would have done the research.
Yeah, 50 and 55. I think it's $50. He got it for $50. But he said that when the guy was selling it to him, he said that it was like a new bourbon, and there's not much out about it yet. But I was definitely pleasantly surprised when I had it. What about you, buddy? What do you think about it? Have you even heard of it? Do you know what's going on with this?
So I've heard of it, and by heard of it, I mean I've seen it in Total Wine. I've seen a couple different expressions. I don't really know much about it. I like that it seems to be grain to glass. Even just looking on the label, it doesn't appear to be sourced. So that's a plus. If we're wrong about that, we'll correct it later. But nonetheless, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the port cask. I think any time that you are making, I do like port casks. I like port wine. Just rich fruit, chocolatey flavors that you get from port wine, depending on what you got. I'm excited because, I mean, with bourbon, if you are not taking advantage of a finishing option, you're just making bourbon, which is fine if that's what you want to do. Yeah. But if you want to be intriguing, you add a finish to it, which is why things like Angel's Envy exist, right? I mean, you can check out our Angel's Envy Caribbean finished rye right up here. We love that bottle. And there's been a variety of other bourbons that we've had.
Variety.
Solid. Until the pun accepts your offer. But that said, I will say that I see them so often and in so large quantities that I usually pass it up because I'm just like, I'll get to it eventually, right? Usually it's like I'm going in to try to look for something else, right? And I have so many bottles right now where it's like my bottle buying has kind of taken a step back because I'm like, I need to get through some of these bottles.
I feel like we say that a lot.
But no, like, legit. I mean, I think I've bought maybe 2 or 3 bottles in the last 2 or 3 months, which is low for me. That used to be like a week and day. Depend on.
Is it a weekend or is it a day? What are we doing? I'm just kidding.
You gonna cut me a check? Like what? But I am excited about it. I'm excited about the port cast. 45% ABV in case we didn't mention it. And you said probably about $50?
Yeah.
If we were professionals, we'd research it?
Yeah,
that's okay. I like the nose. The nose is kind of fruity. Probably coming from that port cast, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Like plum.
No, yeah, it's fruity for sure. I agree. Definitely fruity.
Like plum and raspberries I'm getting off of this. But there is a sour element in there from that rye content. But I know you're talking a big game on it, so I'm going to get into it while you probably talk a little bit.
No. I'm going to keep sipping just to let you sip and think about what you're going to say. I'm going to just sit for camera time and talk just to make the time go by, but I'm not going to say anything about it until you give me your distinctions on how you think of it, and then I'll go.
The front palate and the mid palate, all candy, which I really like. It's got like a... I can't even attach a flavor, and I know that the flavor of what I'm going to say is grape, but I'm not getting grape out of this. I'm just going to say purple drink. Like, it tastes like purple.
Like the color purple.
Like it tastes like the color purple, which is, I'm not giving it like a knock on that. Like it tastes good. Like there's this like plum, grape, like just color purple thing going on, and it's really nice. Then the back palate hits, and it's a little bit spicier. Getting those bourbony notes, a little bit of orange peel on the back end, but it's kind of all encompassed by that spicy rye, so to speak. Not offensive, just it's the rye, right? I mean, we've said it before. We may not be the rye people for rye, but this one is pretty solid. I definitely will give it some high marks for the fact that it disguises itself as candy, which is really nice. Like, particularly like today, right? Today it's probably, I want to say somewhere in the high 80s, and drinking something like this is a lot easier than drinking something that's, say, 110 proof, right? Yeah. Where it's just like, ooh, it tastes like pepper and it's hot. Where this is like, ooh, this is like sucking on a Jolly Rancher, right? Color purple. I actually really like it. What do you got?
So I'm going to say, well, first off, here's the thing. This thing has layer. No. Don't put water in it yet, dude. Trust me. Like, wait a couple minutes. So... this thing has layers, bro. No, trust me, because the first this what happened to me when I first had it, which is why it led to me drinking so much of it. So distinctively, the first time around, buttery texture, very fruity, nice sweetness. You're right. The first time around, the first sip right after the first pour, you do get a slight bit of pepper. I noticed that too. However, wait a couple minutes. Oh my God, dude. After a couple minutes, it turned into creamy vanilla, like a super creamy vanilla. And I was so blown away. And that's why I kept being like, all right, well, I'm going to do a big one this time and let it sit. And then I'm going to start enjoying it. Because after a couple minutes, oh my God, that creamy vanilla just, and it's so like smooth too. So smooth and creamy vanilla. I was like, are you sure this is a rye? Is this really a rye? Because this is really like beyond like the what I expect from a rye. It was so sweet, but yeah, I'm gonna just keep talking, just to kill time, just let this guy just let it air out a little bit more. But
you're right, it does go to a creamy texture for sure. And something to be said about the power of suggestion of you saying creamy vanilla. There's a lot more vanilla, but specifically, I'm getting. Excuse me. I think I've let you have those Woodford Reserve cherries that I
Yeah,
have. Yeah,
yeah.
right? Imagine those in vanilla ice cream. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. A little bit of a sour note from the cherry syrup. That's probably the rye. But I'm getting the fruit note still. Again, color purple. And that creamy vanilla texture for sure. And it's nice. I will say as far as ryes go.
Yeah, exactly.
This is up there for me with something like the Outrider.
Yeah,
the Wyoming Whiskey Outrider. In terms of like, it's high rye. It's not a rye whiskey, but it's a high rye.
Exactly.
So it's like just rye enough, right?
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, the Outrider is what
yeah, and again, you can check that one out up there. That's going in the Wayback Machine too.
Outrider is great though.
Yeah, no, that I mean, both the Wyoming whiskeys we've had have been really good, and we need to try some more because I have some more, but B, like I just need an excuse to open a Wyoming whiskey. But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Breckenridge. I like it, man. It's really solid. So far, your dad, I would say, is probably 2 for 2 because he also gave us that Kiriyoshi.
Oh, no, he bought
Kiriyoshi.
Kiriyoshi. He
that
bought
one.
He
The
bought
Japanese
me that for my
whiskey.
birthday.
Japanese
yeah,
one.
that was actually good too. Yeah.
that one did like shockingly
That was
well.
good. Yeah. That was good.
This one's good. Can I put water in it now?
Yeah.
Caesar's single-handedly trying to make this review like 30 minutes. That's another question. Do you guys prefer shorter reviews or longer reviews, or do you not care? Put it down in the comments.
Yeah. Do you like a short or long? Ask a girl.
Stupid.
No, I'm just kidding.
Stupid. You can lay in the Randy Orton. Stupid. Ooh. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I haven't had it with water yet.
I have not had that nose from a port cask finished bourbon before. Brown sugar blew up.
Yeah. It turned into like a regular bourbon.
Yeah, like it's just like, oh, I'm nosing Buffalo Trace.
Yeah. Buffalo Trace without the kick. So
we'll give that a second to mellow out.
I was like, yeah, this is the first time for me too. I haven't had this with water. I just had it without water, and I was like, we'll keep on pouring that, Dad.
I'm very curious to see what it does with the water because the nose did change so drastically. Like I was getting no brown sugar on the nose of the palate before, but with the water, it just exploded out of the glass. I'm curious if it just needs to kind of settle for a minute, but I'm very curious to see what that does to the palate. What are you getting?
Interesting. So it's sweet, but the finish just gets chopped. Like without the water, it's like, oh man, this is good. Oh, it's sweet. Oh, it's finishing nice and good. With the water, it's like, hey man, this is amazing. All right, that's all we have for you. Wait till you drink again. Oh, this is amazing. All right, you're done. Wait till you drink again to get the flavors. Oh, it's actually pretty good. All right, you're done. It just gets chopped like right away. Like it gets chopped really quick.
I wouldn't say the finish, at least for me, the finish isn't as drastic as you're describing, but I understand what you're saying. Like it is definitely like shortened for sure.
Yeah.
The creaminess explodes for sure with the water, which makes sense. Man, I lost all the ruby fruits though. Like the port cask finish, like influences.
Yeah.
I was fighting to get to it, but I couldn't bring myself to say I was getting chocolate, but like it was something in there was giving me a chocolatey texture or flavor, but with the water, it killed that for sure, because that's just gone. Brown sugar and cherries. Now it just tastes like bourbon, which if that's what you're after, go for it. I would prefer this one neat.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would put water on it so often because, again, I just kind of liked what it was doing. Like, it was a pretty solid bourbon. I'm not going to knock it for not holding water because of the fact that it does take advantage of a finishing option. And in this particular instance, it's just, it didn't kill the whiskey. It just turned it into just run-of-the-mill bourbon for me. So for me on this guy, granted I didn't buy it, and neither did you. Shout out to Dad for letting us review it. We appreciate that, man. But 45% port cast finish, grain to glass, Colorado, Breckenridge. You get a 3.5. I think a 3.5 is fair for this. I think the price point is actually fair for this, if that's what it is. If it's $50, if it's higher than that, maybe that would influence a little bit. But I think 3.5 for the flavors that you're getting here is really solid. I will say this as the asterisk note. I want to try more from them. Like straight up. Yeah. Like I would now when I go in there, I'm going to look at Breckenridge and go, okay, what else do you got? Because now after trying this, I'm very curious to see what else they offer. So it's a 3.5 for me.
So I'm inclined to think the same, 3.5. And at this point, I think it's safe to say that my dad is better at picking bourbons than changing out ACs in cars. Just kidding. I had to throw that.
Say that again. You can say that again.
I had to throw that in there. He's a mechanic and he's better at picking bourbons that he doesn't drink rather than fixing ACs. So
it's a story for another day, folks. It's a story for another day.
Oh shit. So yeah, I would say it's a 3.5. Definitely a 3.5. It's actually very good for a brand that I've never heard of, never known, never seen before, and it actually performed very well because for my palate that I feel is very veteranized and knows what good whiskey is from all the whiskeys I've had, and this keeps up with being a good whiskey. So I think I'd say it's a 3.5 for being a non-known distillery into you made the cut.
Yeah, this feels like one of those like, oh, you like whiskey? Oh, let me give you something special, right? This is what that feels like. And again, the highest praise that I can give this particular bottle is I want to try more from the distillery. A 3.5 is not a bad review from me. I'd say that's actually a really solid one, but one would say maybe above average. Spoilers from an older video. But like I said, the biggest praise I can give it is now I want to go try more from them, which is something. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean that everything we're going to have from them is good, but it does mean that, hey, I'm willing to give them a couple money. Yeah. I'm willing to couple money.
I want to give you
please.
$1.
Money, please. You can lay in the Parks and Rec gift there. But nonetheless, folks, it's 3.5s all around. But what do you think? Is there a Breckenridge that you like that you think we should try out?
Have you had Breckenridge?
Throw it down in the comments. Have you been to Breckenridge? I have not, but I have been to Colorado. It's cold. But nonetheless, guys, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We love interacting with you guys there. Cesar, you got anything else you want to add?
No, what about you, brother?
Not much. Stay safe, drink well, all aboard. Catch you next time. Hey, everybody. Hope you liked that video.
Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications.
And don't forget to subscribe. He wants to go there. I'm like, that's a different video. That's a live stream story. That's a live stream story, baby.